Hi, hello, it's me. Today I watched Nonnas, and now I want to tell you about it. Liz Mackey wrote it, inspired by the life of Jody Scaravella. Steven Chbosky directed the film, and it stars Vince Vaughn, Linda Cardellini, and Susan Sarandon. There's a plethora of Italian-American staple actors too, like Joe Manganiello, Andrea De Matteo. Nonnas is a slice-of-life film with a feel-good element to it. It starts by introducing us to Joe Scaravella and his relationship with his mother. We see how much she means to him, and then she dies, and we see how her passing affects him. Then Joe launches into a new project in an attempt to honor her. He opens a restaurant and hires grandmothers as chefs, with the aim to bring authentic home-cooked family meals to the masses. Nonnas is heavily steeped in Italian-American culture from the music all the way down to the dishes they create on screen. They're good at being inclusive about it too. They go out of their way to show people from different walks of life and have them clash with one another. The journey offers laughs, tears, a bit of romance between Joe and his ex-girlfriend Olivia, and an underdog to root for. So it's pretty typical for a Vince Vaughn film. The humor comes from silly comments, little bits of ethnic humor, and a few ridiculous scenarios. They take shots at Italian-American culture, but the gloves stay on to keep things light. The tears are from different versions of grief that the film has to offer. It starts with Joe losing his mother, and then as he talks with the supporting cast, we learn about the grief that each of them carries with them as well. There's lots of eye-watering moments with enough kindness and empathy to get through them. The romance between Joe and Olivia is very mild. It's two grieving people meeting up and falling in love while working on the restaurant. There's no overt actions of passion, no big proclamations of love, just a mild breeze that gently cools you on a warm night. It's enough to tie the rest together, but not as in-your-face as most modern romances. As for the underdog aspects, they spend a lot of time throwing different problems at Joe. Everything from debt issues to a strict boss and beyond. Joe manages to get through it with some quick thinking from his friends and a little bit of luck, but it definitely feels like he's fighting an uphill battle. If you enjoy watching people overcome adversity, there's lots of that here. Which brings me to my review. Nonnas is very touching. The story is full of emotional and exciting moments. The cast does a wonderful job with the emotions and the journey. The visuals are solid with a down-to-earth approach, and the music is a cultural blast. Starting with the story. It's well explained and balances the emotional palette well. It starts with a really punchy hook and keeps you on the line for a good while. There are moments that drag on just a little long, but other than that, the story is flawlessly executed. It's full of humor, emotional beats, and tells an inspiring tale. They do stretch themselves a little thin in terms of how many storylines they try to address, but they did a good job of fitting everything in. Cast-wise, the performances aren't all that deep, but everyone does a fantastic job anyways. Most of what the cast is called to do is play normal Italian Americans. Think working class people just going about their day. They exhibit a few stereotypes about Italian Americans, like boisterous arguing, lots of kinetic energy in the hands, and a love for tomatoes. But they also give the characters a lot of depth that shatters that image too. Performance-wise, you have Vince Vaughn and Linda Cardellini and the grandmothers as a unit to talk about. Vaughn and Cardellini do a great job with the romance portions of the film, showing off tight-knit chemistry with one another. Vaughn gets to play a man-child attempting to change his life around. He's charming and a little bit irresponsible. He plays the kind of guy you want to root for, but you know is going to find a lot of trouble along the way. Cardellini plays a lawyer in training that looks after one of the grandmothers in Joe's troupe. She's quick-thinking and bold while also being kind and empathetic. She's the complete opposite to Vaughn's Joe, but finds a way to make it seem like she's the lucky one. Truly an amazing feat. The grandmothers each have their own over-the-top personality, and each of the actors does a great job playing off of the others. They're funny while still being able to soften up for the big emotional moments. Sarandon, Vaccaro, Shire, and Bracco all did a fantastic job creating their characters and fleshing them out. Visually, the film isn't much to write home about. It's people cooking and interacting in a small restaurant on Staten Island. There's a few shots of the city and some nice shots of New York to go along with it, but mostly it's a day-to-day drama type of shoot. They have wonderful shots of the Nonnas and Joe cooking, which will get your stomach rumbling and your appetite whetted. There's also some lovely shots of them during the family-style dinners, enjoying themselves and making merry with their friends and family. Other than that, it's just a simple slice of life film. Sound-wise, they have a plethora of Italian-American classics, a few pop songs, and some instrumentals to shore up the holes. They give the film a highly cultural feeling while also matching the emotional journey precisely. The music comes in at the right volume, does a fantastic job of adding flavor and emotion to the scenery, but doesn't interfere in any way. Nonnas isn't all good though. The performances are a little light. It struggles to come up with captivating imagery, and it isn't trying anything new. Starting with the performances, the cast does a solid job depicting their roles. They do a good job with the emotions they're given. They just aren't given enough to really stand out. Each of the grandmothers has their screen time stretched quite thin, and they never quite get into the romance storyline enough for Joe and Olivia's story to really wow the audience. I'm not saying the performances were bad, but they definitely could have gotten more out of the actors here. Next up is the visual journey. It's a pretty normal romp through Staten Island. It's mostly one location with a few sides. The restaurant might be authentic, but it isn't much to look at, and they didn't film it in a way that really stands out. There's also no big flashy moments to wow you. The closest they come is with different cooking scenes. They're good at showing off the food, making the chefs look good while they cook, and they capture a bit of the essence of the scene in the imagery. They just aren't memorable enough for you to remember them against all the other cooking shows out there. As for not trying anything new, the film is an underdog tale that touches on grief. It's very similar to a lot of Vaughn's other projects and follows a typical Hollywood approach to the subject matter. It's not bad, but it isn't groundbreaking either. Personally, I enjoyed the film for what it was. It's a family-friendly affair with a good bit of emotion to it. It's not going to win any awards, but it's a solid film that's worth checking out if you're in the mood for something light. As for a rating, I'd give this film a 7 out of 10. Remember, these are just my thoughts. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Bye-bye.